What's poppin', everybody? Welcome to Culture Popped, Season 3, Episode 10. I think we just lost Drew. Yes, we are here to discuss Fantastic Four. It's going to be a fun night if I can get Dolan to come. He died. Oh, he's back. He died and he's back. He's back.
You kicked me out. I know you kicked me out.
You were black and, well... I was about to say you're black and spinning. Your screen was black and you were spinning. Saying you're black would have been a completely different story. Anyways, we're here. We have both watched the Fantastic Four First Steps, and we're going to be talking about that tonight. I'm really looking forward to this. We're going to kind of go through everything, break it down, spoilers and all. So if you don't want spoilers, then, just be forewarned. But before we get into any of that, Drewski, how are you doing, brother?
I am fantastic. It was a terrific day at the office. Terrific day making developments and steps to getting future stuff done and paid for. Got some waiting to hear back on some emails about some stuff. Make sure that everything's done in time. Because if there's one thing I hate, it's getting everything done, printed, shipped to the last minute. That freaks me the hell out. And I'm concerned about the cover. It's not shipped yet. I'm checking in with RS Express. I'm like, get done, please. Tell me you're done in shipping. But yeah.
I'm the same way. I don't like feeling pressured or rushed for time. So I'm the type that if I'm going on a flight, I get to the airport extra early just so I can go sit in my area and just chill before my plane comes. But even with deadlines and trying to get stuff shipped, same way. I'd rather just make sure we're good to go and ready to go. But speaking of covers, I do believe there's going to be a little event next week that will have a cover exclusive for Unholy Nightmare, correct?
That is correct. There is a convention in Connecticut, Terrificon. It's at the Mohegan Sun Casino and Resort, and this is done by the terrific future superstar, I think it's Matt Wilson. He is amazing, and he's done several. He's doing more and more. He just told me that he did 3 covers this week. He's doing 2 more, I think, next week. The guy's insane. He's a work machine, workhorse, and he did this for Terrificon. Only 50 copies, 50 printed of this cover, and I am so excited to get these in my hands, to get these into everyone's hands. So this is going to be the cover for issue number 1 of Unholy Nightmare, full issue. So we're going to have that, and hopefully some preview editions of issue number 2 as well for the show.
Heck yes. We also have another image of this character. I don't know if you want to kind of talk a little bit about who this is. I know she's not in issue 1, but maybe to kind of tease what may come in issue 3.
Yes, this character, her name is Insane Jane. She may be appearing in issue 3. And I am so excited to see her on the page, finally illustrated by Aurelio. And I've been working on her backstory with Aurelio, and it's going to be a good one. And if my favorite villains, there's one thing that Marvel and DC have been really not getting right with their villains, it's that they're all redeemable, they're all misunderstood. No, this character, Insane Jane, no. She was evil from Jump Street, and she was no good. And yeah, she just is. And there's really no redeeming her. So that's my approach with this character, and I can't wait for everyone to experience her.
Well, clearly, since you're not going to make her sympathetic, she's going to fail. I mean, DC and Marvel clearly have it figured out. They have a winning strategy. That's why their sales are so amazing right now. Kidding. No, I'm looking forward to this because I think it's a cool looking character, and then I really kind of like the aesthetic of this cover, so I think it's a lot of fun, and I think it'll be cool. So, in Terrificon, is that what it was? Or
yep, Terrificon.
So if you're at Terrificon, Go check it out.
It's a lot of big names at that show. There's gonna be a lot of big names, like Ron Garney, Kevin Eastman, almost every Superman artist from the 80s and 90s will be there at the show, including my boy Jerry Ordway. He's going to be there. I think the Fables creators are going to be there. It's the Murderous Row creators. It's like, if you love comic books, if you love comics from the 70s, 80s, 90s, this is the show you want to go to.
Nice. Well, as kind of mentioned, we are going to be discussing Fantastic Four tonight. Really looking forward to this. And while we're giving some people some time to get in, I will kind of go ahead and start off by, I think it's fair to say this was the movie. Well, I think we're pretty nervous about Superman, but we had equally as many reservations for this for many reasons. One, Marvel MCU hasn't been its best lately. Especially the past 5 years, we've faced some of the worst films in the MCU that I think we've had in the entire run. We were hearing rumors about the Fantastic Four and what they were doing leading up to this that were questionable, but then we got to the film. So, Drew, without going into too many details, because we'll definitely kind of walk through the details, you see the movie Thursday night. What were your general thoughts? Did you walk away liking it, not liking it? Where'd you end up?
So I went in with low expectations, which is sad to say when it comes to seeing a film anymore. I hate saying that. But imagine my shock. I enjoyed it. I was shocked. There was a lot they got right. There was some stuff that was off. A couple that were way off. But the good outweighed the bad in this movie. I love the Thing. I thought he was great. They got the eyebrows right. Finally, they got the brow right. And I couldn't believe that. That was a big thing for me. Johnny, he was solid too. And whatever that jackass said in his interviews about his character was not portrayed on the screen at all. And what's her name as an invisible bitch? Yeah, she was good.
No.
Yeah, there were a couple cringe moments involving her, mainly toward the end. But I'm not going to spoil that. But Pedro as Reed, look, he wasn't Reed. I will say he got the manic and the desperation right, but he didn't have the confidence that Reed had. Yeah. And that's what he was missing.
We'll do full breakdowns, especially of the characters later. And then we will definitely spoil the end and kind of have some conversations, because I think I'm going to have a little bit of a differing opinion. But as far as the ending goes, but I will tie it back to comics, and I think it's something that should have been referenced in the film that gets referenced in the comics. But we'll get there when we get there. Look, I had a lot of reservations coming into this, and I walked out really enjoying it. And sometimes I think that works out well. If you go into a film with low expectations, it can surprise you. But it surprised me in some ways that I didn't expect it to. We'll kind of go into the family dynamics later, but I thought that was handled incredibly well. I know some people have felt that it's a slower film, but it really leans into relationships.
Not at all. It paced. It had a solid pace.
Yeah, agreed. Film. Yeah. It moves quickly. But I think they thought it was slower because they wanted more action overall. But I enjoyed it. I had no complaints there. And yeah, I'll kind of just leave it at that for now. With that introduction. Because we're going to go into a few things.
Oh, hey, Josh, towel rack.
Yeah, every time that happens, I've got to wait for this little box to come up to be like, your internet dropped and we cut off your mic. What a jerk. No one likes the internet. But yeah, before we get into further discussions, I do want to go to the chat and say hello real quick. So we do have Cajun Corey in the house with evening. Good evening, sir. It's nice to see you here. Kaiser Jose is also here. What's up? Sydney Sweeney fan club nerds. Apparently it's problematic to say that Sydney Sweeney has good genes, Jeans, because it's racist.
It's racist and Nazism and wow.
I thought they were saying that American Eagle jeans are good, but what do I know? I've never worked corporate retail in my life.
Nope.
No, I think it's just proving if people want to find something to complain about, they will.
They know they're losing ground. They know they have lost the ground that they had in 2017, 18, and 19, and we have veered back. You know, the course has corrected, so they're losing and they're pissed.
Yeah. We've got Cajun Corey coming in with Josh. You could learn from Pedro. Say you have anxiety when you hold hands with Max in public. You know what, Corey? I think that you might be onto something. I don't know if Max would appreciate that though.
You know what's funny is that one thing I've seen, the one video I've seen circulate a lot recently is the one with him and Willem Dafoe at the there's some like it's like some gathering, award celebration or a movie thing. And Pedro does something with Willem Dafoe's wife, and Willem just gets he says something or looks very defensive, like said, "Don't do that again, Pedro."
Oh,
it's
weird.
Yeah,
interesting. I've not seen that one. Cajun Corey is saying that from the reviews he's watched, it's better than expected. I think we both said we enjoyed it more than we expected to. Kaiser, but I think Max is the one with anxiety. You know, I will say the first time I met Drew, the way I described Drew is, man, he's a hugger. He's really handsy. So, but Drew, you are a hugger. You're a big hugger.
Yeah, I am a hugger, and I realize that in the future that could cause potential lawsuits and whatever else on me in the future, depending on who it is. But it just from the Midwest, you know, how we were raised. Just
same.
If you're someone I like and trust, if you're in that circle of trust, you get the hug.
Yeah, agreed. That's how I'm a hugger too, so I'm right there with you. We have Cannoli Sasquatch in the house coming in with, hello everyone. Okay, because of this movie, I bought the Silver Surfer when okay, I don't know what you're saying.
Oh, Josh Talrack. Hello, everyone. Okay, because of this movie, I bought the Silver Surfer When Calls Galactus and the Fantastic Four, The Coming of Galactus comic books. Great collection. Arguably one of the best.
Yes. Yes, Coming of Galactus. I think that's the one that is the 3 issues.
The Galactus trilogy. Yeah.
Yeah. But and he also added, and that's not because I liked the movie. It just got me interested in the books. Did you not like the movie, Cannoli? I'll be interested.
Oh, fascinating. Muy interesante.
Muy interesante. We got Eric Breen, the comic book encyclopedia himself in the house. Good evening, kids. Good evening, good sir. It's nice to see you. Let's see. We got Rudy Tatig here or Tatigway. I always say his name wrong at first. We got Rudy Tatigway here. What's up, gents? What is up, good sir? And Kaiser wants to know if you're a hugger or a hugger. Oh, geez.
I'm not going to fall for. Hey, who's next?
I love it. Rudy did say, Dolan, I just picked up your crossover with Doomface. Virgin variant, bought it off Sparrow at SDCC this past weekend. Hell yeah.
Very nice. Those are hard to get. Those are going to be even harder to get in the future. And I can't begin to imagine in the future how much those are going to be for in the secondary market.
That cover was bomb too. Like I freaking loved that cover.
And just a little heads up, I'm considering doing like a reprint of it, but doing it like the inks, doing like an inked version of it for like New York Comic Con or something.
Hell yeah. Do it. And then as Rudy's kind of alluding to, Aaron was at San Diego Comic-Con all weekend, living it up. So if you follow him on socials, you're gonna see tons of pictures of him there. We also had Eric Brink coming in with, I heard a lot of good things about Fantastic Four before I saw it, and I still liked it more than I thought I would. That's honestly, Breen, that is exactly where I am. So yeah, good stuff. Cannoli did clarify he thought the movie was better than he expected, but it was mid. Okay, well, we'll see. Still, it's the best thing that Marvel's done in a very long time. Agreed.
It's the best since Endgame. There's no, nothing comes close.
Yeah. I even may or may not have text Max to say yes, it's better than Wakanda Forever.
Whoa!
What can I say?
Better than the movie with Namor? Wow.
The movie with Namor. But yeah, let's not keep the people waiting. We're gonna jump right into this. But the first thing we're gonna do, Drew, is I think sometimes if you haven't seen this film, the easiest thing you can do is maybe compare it to previous films. So real quick, we're just gonna kind of give a comparison of how do these land compared to the 2005 and 2015. So how did you feel that this Fantastic Four compared to the 2005 version?
So I actually, after seeing the movie, I rewatched these. I actually rewatched all of them.
Yeah.
And there's some striking similarities actually in the sequel to this one. It specifically the end of the sequel to this one recently, which is very shocking. But this film, it's the heart was in the right place, but it just didn't come out right. There's a couple things. There were some things that did get right. Like Chris Evans as Johnny. I thought he was fantastic. That is spot on Johnny. And I love the relationship between him and Ben. I thought that was great. It's terrific. I just loved him. Loved them just give each other crap. Everything else is kind of in the movie. Jessica Alba's, beautiful. Look, she's beautiful. She's amazing. But
yeah. No, look, I agree with you. I think sometimes this Fantastic Four gets a really bad rap when it does quite a few things well. I think its overall problem is it's very cliche and very cheesy.
Yes.
But you said it right. Its heart was in the right place, and I think it was more so a product of its time. But there's some good things in there. What I will say about this current one is I feel like it gets a lot of the same things right, but it just feels like it takes itself more seriously, and I think that's kind of why I liked this one more.
Yeah. I will say if Ian Griffard, I think that's his name, if he had been in this one,
oh yeah, I know,
dude, it'd been amazing. Holy crap, he would have nailed it.
I agree, because it would have been a good Reed Richards-son to play, and I think he would have done really well. So okay, we kind of discussed how it's comparing to this one, but what about Josh Trank's 2015 Fantastic?
This movie is just it. This is a fascinating failure because it's fun. It's for me. It's fun to watch because it's like I don't hate it. It's fun to watch because I see what he was going for, but then you see the point where the studio steps in. They're like, this is not what we want, and it just completely changes. And it's an interesting point of view. I'll give him that. The first half of the film, I actually really, really love. I completely enjoy. I see what they're going for, but it's just an interesting failure because it just after that it all just fell apart. Nothing made sense, and if they had stuck with Trank's vision, who knows? Maybe there could have been 2 or 3 other sequels. Who the hell knows?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you could be onto something. I do remember. I have not watched this since the first time I watched it, but I do remember liking the early portion because I remember thinking while watching the movie, I don't understand why everyone's hating on this film. And then we got to the back half, and I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, it makes sense. Okay, it makes sense now. Yeah, but like the first, it's like I'm going to admit this here. I have rewatched this film so many times because, like I said, it is just an interesting failure because you're just like, they get so much right, really, with this film as a film, and then it just falls apart. And it's just like, the making of this film is going to be much more fascinating than the film itself that we got. It's just, we'll never know now.
We'll never know. We shall never know. All right, let's turn our eyes back to 2025. I almost said 2024. So you go into the movie theater. It kicks off. The opening scene is that television show where they're going to be there. They're getting introduced, and we get a pretty quick montage of the Fantastic Four has been operating for the past 4 years. and we get a quick like overview of their time over the past 4 years. And I've seen some people complain about this because they're like, "Oh, it's just huge exposition dump to start the movie." But for me, I'm like, you know what? I'm cool with this. We've gotten to see their origins in two different films within the past 20 years.
Yeah, and now my argument, my retort to them would be like, okay, would you rather have this, or would you rather have like Star Wars length text explaining to you what happened in those 4 years?
God. So that's what I was about to say.
They nailed this correctly. You know, it's a montage explaining to you what happened, but you're seeing what happened. That's how you do it in a fucking movie. And they did it. They did it perfectly. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I really like this, and I made the comment to one of my friends that, I put everything that Superman tried to do for jumping you into a film. This film did it correctly, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah. So, and I think if Superman had done something like this opening montage at the very beginning and then picked up with him getting beat, I think we would have had a completely different feeling, because it would have kind of been like, let's focus into this. But they didn't. And they did this year. So I thought it worked out really well. I had a good idea of the world we're in, because honestly, it is a new world. I understood how people viewed the Fantastic Four. I even had a solid kind of grasp on the Fantastic Four's relationships with each other, and even just kind of the tone to expect, which was a little lighthearted. But then you kind of get into the film, and the tone shifts rather quickly to more serious stuff. But once we kind of get past that opening scene, like the first thing we have is Reed looking for iodine. So he's like shifting through drawers, and then you have Sue that's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm looking for iodine." And she goes, he's like, "I can't find it." She goes, "You can't find it because that's not where it is." But she's taking a pregnancy test. They find out they're pregnant, and that ultimately leads into the kind of dinner scene that we've seen advertised so much. But like, you jump right into like, all right, this movie is about family, and it really cascaded from there. But before we start kind of going through specific scenes, I do want to kind of walk through, because we talked about the casting and characters a little bit earlier. We touched on it. I do want to go through just real quick. Let's talk about the main four characters and how do we feel like they were represented, and then we'll kind of go through some actual story elements of the film. But we'll start off with the guy that I think got undercut quite a bit, but I still loved him immensely. And that is Eben Moss Bacharach as Ben Grimm the Thing.
Yeah, he killed it. He was perfect as the Thing. I mean, granted, so I wasn't the biggest fan of the voice, but it grew on me. Right. Mm-hmm. I went with it. I could go with it. But visually, and how he acted, I mean, the scene, like, I don't know what it is, but like, I got more emotional watching this film than I did with Superman. Like, especially the stuff with him and the kids. Like, he's picking up the car, like, "Oh, what, this car? Pick up this car? Oh, I can't lift this, too heavy. Just how he's messing with he's having fun with the kids. It's great. And it put a smile on my face. And I enjoyed his performance and his overall demeanor. Like, just everything from like walking down the streets at night on Yancey Street, looking at TVs, seeing how he used to look, talking to the one I guess teacher played by the chick from American Pie, the crazy redhead. The beard thing at the very end was interesting. I was like, okay, beard choice, okay, cool. But I did like the clobbering time was not his thing. That was in the cartoon. He wasn't going to say it. But no, it was fun. But I don't know what it was, but we'll get to it later on. We talk about maybe toward the end of the film. But yeah, overall, great performance. I thought he was probably my favorite character, second favorite. He's right up there.
Yeah, he definitely had the least to do in this film, which I think made me sad. It's very clear stuff was cut to make the film shorter, and it's very clear that his stuff was a large portion of it that was cut because it didn't play as heavily into the main plot. But like you were mentioning, I loved everything about him. I loved the fun nature of him, whether it was with the banter with Johnny or with the kids. And then I loved the heart and just how aware he is. Even Moss Baccarat, the fact that he's in this costume slash CGI, because it was a little bit of both. They made practical costumes for him to wear, and then they would CGI details and stuff as far as facial movements and clearing that up. But even that dinner scene when Sue's talking and he's just looking at her and he goes, "Are you pregnant?"
Yeah.
Like, it's just the eye contact. There's so much acting with eye contact going on there. And I just, every time I watch that, I just feel it. And I'm like, this, because it says a lot without saying anything. But when you've got a friend that you're that close with that can just look at you and watch your behavior and tell there's something different and then pinpoint specifically what it is, I was like, man, not only is this good writing, but that's great acting.
Yes, absolutely.
And yeah, we didn't get as much of him, feeling like a monster because of how he looks. But they hinted towards it. I hope it's something we get to explore a little more in the future. So, and I feel like we will, but I loved Ben so much that I wanted to see more of him, and even Herbie. Okay, I love Herbie.
Are we going to talk about Herbie separately? We're going to talk about Herbie now.
Let's talk about Herbie now, because I didn't make a slide for Herbie. But we'll start off with this scene, because even Ben, like, he walks over, we've seen this too. He checks like the soup to taste it. He's like, "Oh yeah, it tastes great, and then he's like, "I'm just gonna add a little garlic, not because it's bad, but because it needs a little pizzazz." So like, he's so delicate to Herbie's feelings, and I was like, "Oh, but he's not the only one. Johnny's the same way, and even Stu to lesser of a degree." But yeah, the Herbie was just like this heartwarming little like a robot that I adored.
Yeah, me too. I thought Herbie was great, and look, perfectly honest, I liked him more than Crypto. He has I'm gonna try not to spoil it, but he has to me, it got me a little bit. It's like toward the end, there's a sweet moment in the third act with him and Nathan. He's trying to keep him safe and calm. He's kind of playing with him a little bit. And I have a thing in films about babies being in danger on film. It got me. And you just see Herbie just trying to keep him calm. It's like, that's fucking good. That's great. And Herbie was really damn good in this film.
So many little touches with Herbie that I thought worked. And I love that Johnny, who's kind of this playboy, not so much of a hothead here, but I'll say more high energy here. But even he will like appreciate and give Herbie some love. So when Herbie does something for him, he's like, "Oh, thanks, Herbie," and he'll like scratch Herbie's head, and Herbie, you'll get a reaction from Herbie. And I was like, "That's great." But also in retrospect, Reed does not call him Herbie; he calls him Herbert. He's like, "That's his name. His name is Herbert," and everyone's like, "It's Herbie." So just kind of showing characterization, I thought it was really nice touches. But yeah, Herbie was a great addition. Loyal as can be as a robot, and yes, that scene at the end with Franklin where he's trying to keep Franklin calm and then also trying to protect, I thought was just fantastic. Not to play into the theme of the movie or title of the movie, but it really was. But yeah, both of these characters I thought brought so much heart to this film, and I would have been happier with more Ben, but I'm happy with what they delivered. So win there. Let's go ahead and turn to Johnny, because we were talking about Johnny. We did reference that this is a little different from what Chris Evans delivered. So not so much of a, I don't even want to say hothead, but not so much
of a dumbass.
Yes,
because and that's one thing that I do like here is that when Reed talks about initially when they went into space, he brought the three of the smartest people with him, and it's acknowledged that Johnny, Ben, Sue, they're all brilliant in their own ways. Yeah. And he wanted them to come with him. And we see Johnny use his intelligence in the film.
Oh yeah. That was the thing that I think I love the most was at the core of it, Johnny is still very much Johnny. Yes. The way he teases Ben is Johnny. He's still kind of like, yeah, let's do the fun, exciting adventure stuff. He's still got that in him, but it's not so much of a daring risk taker as much as it is like, I'm not afraid to explore this, like jump into this, I guess I should say. But it's very clear he's fascinated with space and exploration, and they really honed in on that. And yeah, he's intelligent. We'll get to this later, but he plays a key role in helping kind of figure some information out. Um, but yeah, I thought it was great that they really set him up as someone that is intelligent, does contribute to the team. He's not just an idiot. He has value, and they kind of wrote him almost in like an ADHD type of way.
Mhm.
He's interested, but he's interested in what he's interested in. So he's not going to try with everything. Reed tries with everything. Reed's trying to figure everything out. Johnny's like, nope, this is what I'm interested in. So this is what I'm going to focus on. And he does. And I thought it was a great portrayal. I really, really, really liked Joseph Quinn.
Yeah, like I
I
said,
wasn't.
whatever that guy said in the interview, none of
So, yeah.
that is in this film.
Well, and that's why like these studios, they need to stop getting these PR teams to try to write this message. Like, let the actors go out there and talk about it. I think hearing an actor talk about what they experienced or what they felt, the amount of fun they had working, or how impressed they were working with other, like whatever it might be, I feel like that's immensely more interesting than, oh yeah, no, we're making this Johnny different. He's not going to be so crass as the other ones. Like, who cares? Just tell, like, let them go out there and say that what they felt doing this film. Don't pre-write all this stuff. And yeah, I get that you have problematic actors from time to time that say the wrong thing, but I think we're seeing that the PR people can't really get the right thing either. So I'd rather take honesty than manufactured statements. But Johnny Storm, Human Torch, a ton of fun. What did you think about the effects of when he would flame on?
I thought it looked good.
Yeah.
I thought they looked good. It looked like they looked fine. They were. I wouldn't say they were great. I think they still look good. There's something. I'm not gonna lie. The flame effects, as far as from when Chris Evans was Johnny Storm to when Michael B. Jordan was fantastic, was Human Torch. The effects really haven't gotten better, surprisingly, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
in that sense, I thought they looked fine, better than the Corman version. But yeah.
Yeah. So I agree. I don't think there's been a huge difference. I thought it looked good, and then considering how rough the CGI has been for Marvel lately, I was happy that it just wasn't bad. I'm being honest. So before we move on to the next two, Sue and Reed, because I feel like we're gonna have a lot to say about them. I do want to hit the comments. We have Kevin Carpet here. Nice to see you. I think this is your first time, so welcome. And he said he bought Books of Doom by Ed Brubaker and Hickman's Fantastic Four.
Nice.
Yeah, honestly, there's a lot of good stuff with Fantastic Four. I will say that if you're ever looking for a foundational start, I think John Byrne's run is a really good run to kind of just really get a good grounding.
I've got both on the bookshelf from John Byrne's run. I love it. It's got my favorite Fantastic Four issue in his run, and he's an incredible storyteller still to this day.
Indeed. We also have the comic crusader himself, Maxfield Von Priestley, in the house, and then you put Herbie Hancock.
John Hancock. It's Herbie Hancock.
Oh, Max needs to go see this movie, but he won't because he's a loser. So we also have Zax in the house coming in with love you, Joshy Poo, but I haven't seen Fantastic Four yet. I'm spoiler dodging. Man, you do not have to explain that to me. I get it. I like to experience films, so go watch it when you get a chance, and then come. I mean, I'm sure we'll talk at some point and share our thoughts. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and move on to Sue Storm, so Vanessa Kirby. Now, Drew, I knew you were really concerned that she was going to be way too cold. Did you feel like she was too cold?
So, I wouldn't say she was too cold. But there's something about her. It's hard to explain. How I've read Sue Storm, she didn't really portray. I mean, I thought she did an okay job, but there's something about her that's just very. It's hard to like very Hillary Clinton about her, and it's just
what
hard to explain.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know,
but it's just. she didn't really have all the warmth that I thought she was. I would have come to expect from a Sue Storm. It's just something about her. Her. When I say similar to Hillary Clinton, it's just that manufactured smile. It doesn't feel like a genuine smile. It doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't. She's the one. I'm just like, I don't buy you being happy. I don't buy that.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, she could be looking for a little Nemor in the near future, so you might be onto something.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I didn't read it as inauthentic. I will say I felt like they purposely wrote her in a way that she was more diplomatic. And I didn't mind it. But even as like her role, like she served almost like as a diplomat type role with relaying information to nations and like our Congress. Like we saw 2 or 3 scenes of her like actually in a like Senate
and we
type role.
Saw a certain nation that didn't have a certain representative there.
Yeah, I know. We're going to talk about that later because I really I have theories and I'm really curious now. But yeah, no, I didn't mind her. I actually thought she did really well. There is a scene in particular where, there's a couple of scenes that I liked. I thought her and Pedro played off of each other really well. Like I felt the chemistry there. I felt like they were, I felt like they were a believable couple. I enjoyed her. There's a scene where she does tell Reed, she kind of confronts him about the fact that he weighs everything and he considers everything an option. And that's just who Reed is. But she's kind of
Reed.
Yeah. But she's saying it, like in context of giving up Franklin, which we'll talk about this in a second. But she says, like, when you consider this, it hurts me. And it's I've seen people really complain about that scene, and I've seen people that have loved it. I thought it was good, and because I didn't take it as a full-on fight or spat, just her acknowledging, like, sometimes it bothers me that you could even consider doing this because I could never think of giving up my child. And I think that's all she's saying. And I think it's teasing or foreshadowing for what we might get from Reed in the future, which I'm like, I'm okay if we go there. I didn't mind that scene. And then you have a scene where she kind of confronts the public that I've seen people have either also loved or hated. I also didn't mind that. I thought it was a little heavy-handed, but at the same time, it's something I could believe a mother doing.
Yes,
something I do.
I'm right there, like teetering on the edge, both sides with that scene. It wasn't too much in one way, it wasn't too much in the other way. It's just like I felt like he did a decent job trying to balance that out,
Yeah.
And so it could have been worse.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I will say where I thought she didn't perform the best is in action stuff when she was using her powers. I think she could have added a little more like body acting into that, and we'll get into the specifics of what happens at the end. But sometimes when she's using her force, like her light to protect, it doesn't feel like her body's into it. Like I see the face into it, but not the rest of the body.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think I saw more effort from Jessica Alba than her when it came to that.
Jessica Alba's like, her glam shots.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I will agree with you there. Especially at the end, I wanted to see more of a physical strain.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Honestly, I was hoping we were seeing like maybe like a nosebleed or something like a physical thing with her. Like it's like, oh shit, she really is pushing herself too far. But we didn't really see that.
No, and for those of you who are like, what are y'all talking about? I promise we'll get there. But overall, I enjoyed Vanessa Kirby. I'm not gonna lie. I think she's a talented actress. I do understand when people say I don't know if it fully felt like Sue to me from the comics, but I thought it worked for what they were doing here in the film. Are we prepared to talk about Pedro?
We might as well. Let's talk about Pedro.
Okay, so Pedro Pascal was cast as Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, and if anyone has gotten shit on their casting, it was Pedro Pascal. I have very, very, very mixed feelings on this because I sat through the entire movie going, "This is not Reed," but I also sat through the movie going, "He's not doing a bad job. It's just not Reed."
Yes.
And I know a lot of people. Look, I know a lot of people like to hate on Pedro. There's reasons for it. I don't think he's a bad actor. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, he sucks." I don't think he sucks. I think they're just tired of seeing all this bullshit. I thought he did a really good job acting. I just don't think it was Reed.
No, to me. Yeah, that's just it. There were some, like I said, there were some things he got right with Reed, like showing the desperation and how manic he is. At the chalkboard. I love those scenes of him at the chalkboard. I thought those were great. Those are the best moments he did as Reed. But other than that, he didn't really portray the confidence, or just that maybe that aloofishness.
Yeah,
that Reed would have.
It was almost like we needed some balance. Like it's almost like I wish we would have had a little more of them doing stuff at the beginning where we could have seen more of Reed's character being confident. That way, when you see him not so confident, you would realize, oh, this is a contrast. This is different. But we didn't fully get that.
No.
But I agree with you. He didn't have the confidence when we were focusing on him, and then we saw it in kind of like throwaway moments. Like there's a point in the movie where he made something. Oh, it's when he comes out with the baby carriage, the baby carrier, and he's like, "Oh, here's this," and he's naming everything that's like safe about it. And I remember in that moment, I was like, "Wait, how many things has he just like randomly made that it's like reference, and then the next time you see him, it's done?" And there's probably like 4 or 5 things throughout the film that something gets referenced and he makes it. Something gets referenced and he makes it. You just don't get to see him do it. You hear the reference and you see the after effect. And I was like, okay, I wish we kind of would have honed on that a little bit more, because that would show the confidence. Like, yeah, not a problem. I got it. I've heard some people describe Pedro's performance as him being sad. I didn't take it as sad. I took it at he was so conflicted with everything he was figuring out. But there wasn't really any dialogue to convey that. Does that make sense?
No, it's true. And but like we said, it all comes back to he didn't display the confidence there. If he's like they've been saying like he's going to be the leader of the Avengers or leaders of blah 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 coming up, it's like I didn't get that from this film at all. That of him being the leader, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think if there, and this is kind of to go, but maybe if there had been a film prior to this and you saw the Fantastic Four on just a regular origin, regular adventure, and it was all confidence, maybe we'd feel differently. But because we didn't get any of that, then yes, we're left with that. Where is this confidence that you should
honestly,
have?
The confidence that Sue had, that's what Reed should have had, honestly. And honestly, if Reed had made that speech outside the Baxter Building, Four Freedoms Plaza, whatever the hell it was, to the people out there, it's like, oh, maybe that would have really shown something. But but the way I saw it, Sue had more than he did in this film.
Yeah, and I think it was, and I don't think it's necessarily a lack of character. I think it's just where they put the character for this film. Stu gets pregnant, they're having a baby. He's already really concerned about, is this baby going to be okay? And they don't lean into him saying it, but it's an ongoing theme throughout the movie of he's wanting to keep checking and doing scans at Franklin.
I love it. I love it because it just shows like an anxiety in him, just an insecurity in it, that he's always, it's like, no, I gotta check. And it's just I like that.
And then I think where we could have seen more confidence was, to me, it became clear that he spent most of the time after meeting Galactus knowing what they needed to do, but he just didn't want to do it because of Sue. And I wish we would have seen more of him saying like, no, we have to do this. This is the only way. And we didn't get that, but that maybe would have been some of the confidence he needed. But again, I didn't think it was a bad performance. I liked him better than I thought I would, but it still was not Reed Richards to me.
Yes, Correct.
So
Same.
let's start getting into the plot a little bit. And we talked about the beginning. Most of the first 20 to 30 minutes is just your montage and really getting to know the family, and kind of their dynamic. But then the plot kicks off with the arrival of the Silver Surfer, and we'll talk about Julia Garner, a Silver Surfer, in a minute. But I felt like there was a real strong shift in the tone of the movie the moment that Silver Surfer arrived and gives this speech: "The I herald his beginning, I herald your end, I herald Galactus." And for me, that's when I was like, "All right, we're kind of like really shifting the tone here to focus on something else." But what did you think about the overall plot of Silver Surfer coming, announcing Galactus is coming, and then that becomes the race of how do we stop Galactus or fix this before he gets here?
I dug it. It was great. It was terrific. And I'm like, if you want to adapt it as well as you can by honoring the comics, but not getting so bug nuts crazy with it, they did a great job with it. And I loved visually how it looked. Just seeing enter the atmosphere, you see those massive flames. It's like, oh, this is good. And it was very dramatic. And one thing, there's something about this film, like it has there's different things about this film. Like at one point, it's a disaster film toward the end.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And it's like you really feel like you're watching. It's just like this Earth is going to die, and you're just like you just get a very unsettling feeling about this, and because you believe it, and they sell it. They sell a great job. Like we're screwed, and I was all in on it, and I loved just how they did a great job just bringing us about. And I was so emotionally invested in this film from that point on. Just and you see just what they got to do, getting into space, and that is where the money shot. Some of the best money shots are. Like,
agreed.
I wish I had seen it in IMAX or 3D shots. They are fantastic.
Yes. We will touch on the space stuff a little bit more in detail here in a second. I will say I'm right there with you. Just the tonal shift here, I felt so invested. And this is kind of, I made the comment earlier, like this film took itself seriously. And I think this is where you really start to feel that. But it didn't feel like Silver Surfer coming to announce Galactus was an empty threat. It felt like a threat. And just kind of how everyone responded coming out of this, I thought was really good. I was very happy with it. But I do, because I feel like we can't really talk further without getting into Silver Surfer. So Julia Garner is playing Charlotte Ball, the Silver Surfer. If there was anything more, I guess, harped on other than Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, it was this. So, Drew, after watching the film, how do you feel about this Silver Surfer?
Nah, I'm indifferent about her. Honestly, it just, she didn't really do anything great. She didn't do anything terrible. It might as well have been androgynous as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I could see that.
But they wanted to have Johnny have his thing. It's like, okay, cool, fine. But it didn't really go anywhere at all, which kind of sucked. I wish there had been like a little Hendra tease or something. But I thought, meh.
Yeah, I think from a visual perspective and like I don't even want to say story perspective, but just I felt like I enjoyed the depiction of Silver Surfer better here than I did in the Rise of the Silver Surfer film. Again, it's been forever since I've seen that. But I didn't mind Julia Garner. I thought she did fine. I thought her most impactful scene was that first scene where she announces everything. Like that for me grabbed my attention, and she never grabbed my attention like that again. And I think I also had maybe higher expectations for what her character would do in this film based on what happens in the comics, especially the Stan Lee and Jack Kirby 3 issues. But yeah, no, she was fine. I didn't hate it. I understand the reason they made it Shala Ball was to try to make the storyline of, well, the reason Johnny approaches her and tries to stop her and tries to do so much with her is because he's got this intrigue, kind of like maybe like you know, it's a lady.
Ooh, it's a lady.
They didn't lean into that enough to fully justify, okay, this needs to be Shala Ball and not Norrin Rad. So I'm not one of those that's going to go, oh, I hate it because it's not Norrin Rad. But I felt like there are people that are that way, so I get it.
It's a different Earth, it's a different universe. You've got so I'm like, okay, I'll go with it being a different Silver Surfer. And hey, this Earth 828, and what's significant about that? That is Jack Kirby's birthday, August 28th.
It is. So I thought that was a fun little nod. I did see, well, I will say visually, I really liked the scene, and we'll talk about this more in a second, but I really liked the scene when they're traveling through the wormhole and she's just keeping up. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, just like, oh, she's gone. Oh, nope, she's right back. It's like, oh crap.
Yeah. And then she's literally like surfing it. And I was like, oh, this looks great. Like, I thought just visually that looked fantastic. I did see an interview. So Julia Garner's first day was that I herald his beginning, I herald your end, I herald. That speech was her very first day on set, and she was talking about how nervous she was, and she was like, I was already aware that people were upset about my casting, so I'm going in like more nervous. Like she's like, I always have a little nervous because I want to do well, but she was like, I went in really nervous with this because it's like everyone already hates that I'm in this role. And nobody's gonna like me because it is me. So she was like, I was just feeling super anxious. And then Matt Shackman, the director, likes to do a lot of practical stuff. So for that scene where she's over New York City saying that speech, they literally have a surfboard on a crane, and she is on that surfboard with the microphone, speaking to all the actors at the bottom. And they both talked about how like it was just kind of a light moment, and then when she got there and tried to like deepen her voice and say the lines, it was just like all the actors below just kind of stopped and their whole performance changed. So they reshot their performance with her actually delivering those lines, and I was like, that's cool. I'm happy with that. Kind of sad she felt like she is just screwed no matter what though. But yeah, look, if you dislike Shala Ball because it's not Norrin Rad, I get it. But I would say go in with a fair mind because I think she does fine with what she's given to do. I do think they should have done more with her. That's all.
Yeah. Because honestly, she winds up about as, as on the same level as Silver Surfer from Rise of Silver Surfer.
Yeah. And it really felt like they were going to try. They tried to make a little bit more, well, I mean, about the same emotional resonance. So I don't know.
Yeah, it really was, and it's just like I said, it's just amazing how similar the Rise of Silver Surfer film is to this film, especially in the third act.
Yeah. So Yuri Volti put, I think the most disappointing thing about the Silver Surfer is that they basically seem to have no other plans for her. Yeah, I think that's kind of what I was alluding to, where I expected more from her by the end, but because they didn't, it's like, okay, well, where do we go from here? And then the film ends differently than I thought it was going to end, so that is also creating the lingering question there. But let's kind of get to this space race, the space exploration, because once Julia Garner comes on the scene, she announces Galactus is coming. She goes to leave. Johnny goes after her. Some beautiful shots here. He tries to stop her, and then she says something to him in a completely different language, and then flips her board and takes off. And then you have Reed make the comment like, hey, she's moving too fast, we can't track her. Now, I'm going to pause for a second because I've already seen a couple of people with YouTube reviews complaining that they're like, what do you mean she's too fast, you can't track her, so you're going to track everywhere else she is? I'm like, no, you dumbass. They got a trace of her energy, and they're finding that energy everywhere else in the galaxy. The reason they can't follow her is it's common sense. I'm just putting this out there. If something is too fast for you to track it and follow it, if you still go, well, I'm going to track it and follow it, you're only going to create more distance. However, if you look at the galaxy and go, where do we keep seeing this energy from? Maybe we can pinpoint like her home. And then you start seeing like, oh, there's energy here, energy here, energy here, energy here. But all these planets that were there are now gone. But there's energy here and there's an object there, then maybe that's where she is. So everyone that's been freaking out about that plot point of all things, like, stop being retarded. Anyways.
Yeah, I was gonna say of all the things to be upset about in this film, that is not one of them.
I have seen literally 3 or 4 like reviews or discussions where people are losing it about this. And I'm like, this is not complicated, guys. It's really not that complicated. Anyways, they track her energy to a specific area where it looks like it's a planet, and they're pretty sure that's where Galactus is. So the Fantastic Four go off into space to try and confront Galactus to honestly reason with him, like try to stop him. And for me, so much good stuff happens here,
dude. Oh God, it just, I never ever thought in my life we would get like an accurate description portrayal of Galactus. And when he shows up, when he appears, it is terrifying.
It is,
because when you visually just how dark it is, you see how small they are, and then they see Galactus come out of the dark. You see his eyes light up. It's like, oh fuck! it's just one of those things where like I'm putting myself in their situation. I am in space in this guy's ship. This guy could kill me in a fucking heartbeat, and there's no way out of here. It's just we're screwed, and it's a terrifying situation to be in. And you see just oh God, it was great. I wish I'd seen this in IMAX or 3D. I am so kicking myself right now.
Yeah, no, for sure go see it in IMAX, man, because they like, I don't know if you've seen some of the comparison shots of some of these scenes, like how much you get to see in IMAX versus on a regular screen. It's go see it in IMAX for sure. But yeah, I loved all of this, the exploration through space, trying to track down Galactus, thinking that they're finding a planet, and really it's just his giant ass ship.
Yeah, and it's just everything, the tech on the ship, it just everything on how retro everything was on the ship. I love the computers, the lights, and like, this is so fucking cool. It's awesome. I loved it. It just visually, it was so appealing and stimulating. I loved it all. And just you see just how it is in contrast with Galactus' ship. It's like, oh God, it's like a steel ironworks, factory that he's in. It's crazy.
Right. Yeah. So even them trying to get to his ship, like they show up, they do a hyper jump pretty much to get to this planet. And when they get there,
I'm not gonna spoil it. But I loved how they utilized the warp. I liked it. That was great.
But they get there essentially right as a planet is just destroying. So you've got this huge debris field that's coming up, and they're trying to dodge it. And then they realize like, oh, this isn't a planet, it's a ship. Oh, holy shit. So Reed's like, Sue, you have to cloak us. So she tries to. And then we realize that it does no good. Like, he can see right through her powers. It just like they I don't know what you call retractor beam. Like, beam me up, Scotty. They just pull him in. But I love that they never feel threatened per se, even when getting on the ship. Like, they get there. I think the Silver Surfer arrives. She's talking to them. And Reed tells Herbie right away, like, Herbie, go collect samples. And I was like, that is the best. Like, just, it's the biggest throwaway line, but it's such a Reed Richards thing to do.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a throwaway line, but it's so important at the same time.
And I've seen some people be like, so that Silver Surfer is just going to let that little robot run around and get samples? It's like, who cares? Like, this, as far as Galactus and Silver Surfer are concerned, they're like, get what you want. You're about to die.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to them. You cannot escape this. Your planet can't escape this. It's like the Borg. Resistance is futile. But
you get more of like the almost flirtation between Johnny and Silver Surfer going through. Um, before you finally get to Galactus, and yeah, the moment you see him, it is terrifying because they filmed it in a way that you feel his scale. And the actress did a really good job of portraying like their shock of like
Yes.
holy shit.
Yeah, and
Um,
the actor who as Galactus, he did a great flipping job. Amazing
yes.
job with Galactus.
But yeah, so much good stuff here. And then
It's just amazing. You look at this, then you compare it to the shit cloud from Rise of
oh
Silver
god,
Surfer. It's
yeah.
like, my God, it's just I just love the fact, I'm embracing the fact that we're getting away from that Warren Ellis crap from the Ultimate Universe. He was a nanite cloud. It's like, yes, get away from that practical, like that quote unquote real shit. Let's have fun with it. Bring it back to the comics. Let's have fun.
For sure, agreed. But yeah, this is where they learn what it will take to stop Galactus, and this is what I appreciate the most because when you read the comics, you find out Galactus he's not like evil for the sake of being evil. He just has to eat.
He's a force of nature. He's a force of nature. He does what he has to do.
And he's not gonna feel sorry about it because like he's got to survive. And if anyone else were in his boat, they'd do the same thing to live. You got to eat a planet. Sorry, I'm gonna eat your planet. I'm gonna take all your planets. Nothing personal. I gotta eat.
Sorry, Charlie.
Sorry, Charlie. But I love that they have this conversation here, and it took me back to, and I can't remember if it was the Lee and Kirby, if it was actually, I think it may have been John Byrne, where Reed says something about have some humanity, and in the comics, Galactus is like, don't speak to me about humanity. I was once a man, and they threw in the line where Galactus says, "I was once a man like you," and I was like, oh, thank God! Like this gives so much texture here. But they're begging, please don't eat our planet, and that's when he realizes there's cosmic energy coming from Sue's stomach, because she's pregnant. And he's like, I will spare your planet if I can have your baby. And then that just kind of like, I wish they would not have revealed that in the trailers, because I was like, if you hadn't and just let people experience that, they would have been like, oh shit.
Reveal what in the trailer?
Huh?
Reveal what in the trailer?
The final trailer for Fantastic Four that was released, they have Reed saying Galactus asked too much. He wanted us to give up our child.
Oh, they did? Oh
yeah.
no!
I was like,
I didn't see that. I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I didn't see it. I'm glad I didn't see it. Oh.
But yeah, he can see the cosmic energy, and you got Reed going, no. I've done many tests. There's nothing there, and he goes, no, he's masking it from you or hiding it from you. And it's like, oh god, this is so good. But they refuse. Fantastic Four refuses, and what does Galactus do? He's like, fine. He induces pregnancy in Sue like right away, which I was like, this is a little cheesy, but it was also very much like, oh shit,
like, he's gonna get what he wants. Doesn't matter. Yeah.
So then what started off as a mission to kind of like negotiate is now an escape. So for the next like 10 minutes, it's escape. A lot of fun.
It's a beautifully shot escape scene.
Yes,
and, especially when they get to like a certain like a black hole or whatever. Like, oh, this was fucking great. I love it. Great stuff.
Look, I've seen people complain about some of the science in this. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a physicist.
It's a fucking comic book movie. Jesus Christ.
That too. And I'm like, one, it's a comic book movie. Two, half of this stuff are theoretical physics, meaning we don't actually know. So sit down and shut the fuck up.
This is a movie with a giant purple guy, a guy made out of rock, and a woman who has a child that is like now a magical MacGuffin.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. Too bad, so sad. If you can't have that suspension of disbelief, this is not the movie for you. Go watch Apollo 13.
Yeah, like if this was Interstellar or something, sure, by all means, if you want to criticize science, fine. But this is a comic book movie, like, and that was actually one of my first comments was, if you cannot suspend your belief enough in a film where there's a giant purple, like, godlike being, and then 4 people that traveled to space and gained powers, like, I think you need to rethink things.
Yes, and not just that. There was a guy called the Mole Man who lives underneath the earth,
under the ground.
Right?
Yeah. I will say the one thing that I wish would have been in all of this leading up, I wish there would have been just a quick exchange about, Sue, you shouldn't go to space. because she's
bullseye.
like literally
Yes.
9 months pregnant.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just like, is that really responsible of you?
Yeah, right. And I'm like, I feel like there should have been something.
Yeah,
But
exactly. Yeah, and not just it's like this is a spaceship, you know, and look, they're not all 100%, you know, successful, you know. And are
yeah,
you sure that's responsible of you to be on a rocket that could explode before you get into space?
right.
And you're a child, like, hey, that's just me.
Yeah, yeah. So you know, I found that a little questionable, but I'm not gonna like hate the movie because of it. I just wish they would have had some type of conversation.
Yeah,
Um, Even if they just accepted Sue being like, "No, we're better together." Like I'm going. Okay, sure. You know, or she can freaking turn invisible. Okay, let her sneak on.
Mhm.
Like, there's so many things you could have done. Anyways,
Now that would have been great if she
yeah,
snuck on. If she was invisible and snuck on. Yeah.
yeah. So you know, take it for what it is, but I wish that would have happened. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about Ralph Ineson playing Galactus because I'm right with you. Like he did just the voice, even the way he moved and kind of created a
Yes.
presence. Um,
It was
I will say,
terrifying. When he gets
yeah,
to Earth, it's even more terrifying.
yes. I wish we would have had more of Galactus. I wish we were getting a second Fantastic Four film before this whole Secret Wars bullcrap that's going on. Because I would love to see the trial of Reed Richards kind of played out and portrayed and like kick off a cosmic story or something. Because I think there's a lot of stuff that's interesting about Reed and Galactus that's in that John Byrne story that I'm like, oh, I want that so bad. But I loved it here. You mentioned when he gets to Earth. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. But I love that they were practical miniature sets that were built for him to walk through as an actor.
And the sets looked amazing. The sets looked amazing.
Well, yeah, and it's just like, you know, and we keep talking about how we kind of felt this, like we felt this movie more than we felt others, and part of me's wondering, is it because so much was practical?
It has to be because, you know, like you said, I mean, a lot of it did look real. Like there's that uncanny valley effect with a lot of movies where it just like you just feel like something is off here, you know.
Yep.
But with this, like a lot of it looked and felt real because like you said, it was real. It was built, and the city felt real. And when you see Galactus approach that city, it's like he just destroyed a fucking city. Holy shit!
Yeah.
And I was all in, emotionally invested, and because I believed it, and they did a good job selling it. I do need to go back and see it again. I want to see this in IMAX. I'm going to keep saying that till the end of the show.
Dude,
see this
go
in
see
IMAX.
it in IMAX. I might even try to go see it in 3D. I don't typically like 3D films, but I might go see this in 3D.
The last movie I saw in 3D was that Alice in Wonderland movie, and that was crap. Tells you how long ago that was.
I saw the Avatar, the last Avatar in 3D, so that was fine. It was all right. But yeah, no, I thought he did a fantastic job. I wish he would have had more to do, but I thought he was menacing and had presence in every scene that he was in. So kudos, Ralph Ineson. My hat's off to you for really
the first villain from Marvel Entertainment that was not treated as a joke, not treated as a punchline, treated as a legitimate threat.
Yeah.
And since Thanos.
Yeah.
And I really truly hope this is not the last we see of him. I hope we get to see more.
Yeah, agreed. Oh shoot, I forgot to change the title here. Hold on. Okay. So I want to kind of get into like after they find out. So they do find out that Galactus wants Franklin, and if he can have Franklin, then he won't eat the Earth. And we learn that there's a reason for this. It's because Franklin's cosmic abilities that he has, and we know if you've read comics, you know the scope of Franklin's powers, which are insane. Like
he's the magical MacGuffin.
Yeah, that kid is so OP that I'm kind of like, oh god, why are we bringing him into the MCU? But
he's that character that he can write you out of any corner you're in.
Yes, easily, because he can do whatever the hell he wants.
Yes.
But that kind of, the Fantastic Four come back, they arrive. Sue ends up having Franklin on the ship as they're trying to escape, which again was a little cheesy, but also very effective. Like it created tension. And not that I actually thought anything was going to happen, but I was like, okay, the stakes are raised. I get it.
Well, and me, I've got, like I said, I've got something where it's like when infants are in danger on film, it gets me emotionally. And the kid was, when you see the baby crying and all this, I'm just like, God damn it, no, don't hurt the baby, don't hurt the baby. And I'm freaking out for the baby. And it's just, this is going back as far back as that movie, The Witches, from the 80s. Angelica Houston. There's a moment, there's a baby that's being chased down by the witches in a baby carriage. I'm like, that's kind of stuck with me as an adult still. And like, so when I see a baby in danger, I'm like, no, don't put the baby in danger. But yeah, they do a great job of just showing the desperation from the four, trying to keep Nathan safe.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that happens too, just that creates issues with the like them trying to get home. They lose part of their there's a lot of stuff that happens. They lose part of their engine. They have to they science it up to be able to barely get home, which they do. And when they arrive, they're greeted as heroes, because the Earth is yep, these guys, they just wouldn't stop Galactus. We're saved.
Well, and then, they've never failed. They've always saved the day.
And this is also where I feel like this film did it better than Superman. This is the first time that they failed, and they kind of say hey. Because they're like, oh, how did you beat Galactus? There's a press conference. They arrive. They don't get to settle, sleep, nothing. The Future Foundation, which is kind of like a global organization on this Earth, has set up a press conference for them to say what happened. And, they're like, one of the reporters oh, did you beat Galactus? And Reed goes, no. And then I love that Johnny jumps in with not yet. Not yet. Because I needed that little bit of Johnny to be we're going to get it. And then people were like, why not? And he goes, we went to speak to Galactus to try to keep him from coming here. He made a bargain. He asked too much. And then they're like, what did he ask for? And Reed said, our kid, our son. And we're not giving up our son. And the film takes a really interesting shift here that suddenly they're not, the world looks at it. The world starts looking at them as, you were so selfish, you won't give up your baby to save millions of people, billions of people. So you finally get this shift of they're not popular anymore. People are really pissed. People are scared. They're afraid. And you have these characters having these conversations. It's they don't really hate us. They're just afraid. And this is what leads to that scene with Sue going out and saying, kind of giving her speech to the crowd, which again was heavy-handed in some ways and excellent in some ways.
Yeah, she says I'm not going to sacrifice my child for the Earth, but at the same time, I'm not going to sacrifice Earth for my child.
Yes, I thought that line in particular, I thought it was really good, but because I thought there was a certain weight to it of there's more ways we can approach this, so just trust us. And I thought it was fitting for a mother to say, but yes. They come up with a plan. They're working on their plan. They're doing different things. They're trying to figure out how to stop Galactus.
It's a very Reed plan, and I dig it.
And you get to a point, and I've seen a lot of people are like, "Oh, this is so stupid," but Reed's pretty much look, the only thing we can do, because we cannot stop him, the only thing we can do is we can move the Earth. Well, run. We can move the Earth. And you've spent the entire movie with him working with a bridge, teleporting an egg, kind of playing with this stuff. So that's the plan. And what's crazy and what I liked about this too is this honestly wasn't even his main plan. He just wasn't doing his main plan because he knew it meant potentially sacrificing Franklin. So they come up with this plan to teleport the Earth. They put it in motion. They've got a month or so ish that they're working on this, getting it done. All these things are happening. Everyone's pitching in. And they're building these little, whatever you want to call them, satellite type things to help transport the Earth.
Little power relays.
Yeah. I've seen where people thought this was cheesy. I'm with you. It's a very Reed thing. It's Fantastic Four. It's comics. I'm okay with it.
Yes, it was like you said. I mean, if this were in reality, could this happen? Fuck
no
and no.
Yeah.
But in a comic book movie,
Sure.
where you have a guy, a giant purple guy, and a guy as a rock monster, and a guy who sets himself on fire. Yes, I can go with this. This is sure. This can happen.
I can set myself on fire too. Yeah, no, and it's even one of those things that if it weren't Reed and it weren't the Fantastic Four, I'd be like, what are we doing? Like if a Batman comic had the Earth getting moved, I'd be like,
Batman doing this, like,
yeah,
no.
like shut it down. In production, we're done. But yeah, so they do that. They get every. Oh, actually, quick question. I've seen some people that have referred to the Fantastic Four as authoritarians and dictators because they tell the world what to do, and I'm like, did you watch the same movie? Because they never said you have to do this. They ask everyone to do this.
Well, here's the thing. At the same time, we don't really see any other world leaders. We don't see the president. We don't see any prime ministers. We don't see any kings or queens. One of which is missing at a United Nations meeting or whatever. But it was strange. Like to a point, I do agree. Like it felt like they were really in charge of a lot of things, and like there's a lot of deferment to them.
Right. So the scene that you're talking about with that person missing, the Latvian leader, we'll say.
Oh, you said it.
Yep. That seems earlier in the film, and it is about people agreeing to kind of work with the Future Foundation and kind of use them for leaders in science and all this other stuff. So they tried. I mean, they definitely tried to write it in a way it's more of a respect thing, and that people buy in. But I do feel like, I genuinely feel like if we were on this Earth in a situation where an alien presence suddenly appeared and they're like, we're gonna bomb your Earth with radiation or lasers or whatever the hell, I feel like as a world we would start working together real fucking quick to try to figure out how to stop this. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like it would be less of a petty nation to nation fight, more of a like, we've got to work with each other because these aliens like Earth power. So yeah, I get it, and I do think people just kind of went along with things a little too easily. That was a little like, golly gee willikers, yep, we should listen to the Fantastic Four.
But I think that's the comic book in this.
Agreed. And so I don't feel like it was ever authoritarian. Like they weren't demanding you do anything. Every time they asked, they're like, we're asking you or we're begging you, please do this, please do that. We need your help.
You got to look at the setting of this Earth. It's in the 60s.
Yep.
And it's a fantasy land. So yeah, it could be fantasy responses. It's a fantasy world. So there were times that this kind of reminded me of the way we remember JFK and Camelot and that kind of aspect of like, so I appreciate it, but I do understand the complaint that some people have had. Excuse me. Anyways, they build these towers and they're it's the day that we're moving the Earth, baby. It's, let's rock and roll. So they get the countdown, everyone's starting their stuff, and you're literally seconds away from the Earth teleporting and jumping. And suddenly it fails because these towers are getting disrupted. And then we see it's the Silver Surfer being a total BI, just going through and just taking them out. Total bitch and heat. Yep.
Yep. And then I will say, very conveniently, only one of those little tower clusters doesn't get destroyed, and it's the one that's in New York City. And that's because Johnny confronts her. And this is where we kind of learn what Johnny's been doing this entire film, because he's enamored with her. She spoke to him in another language. He's certain he's heard it. He's trying to figure it out. There's a subplot where Reed's talking about they're getting transmissions from space, but they can't understand them because it's a different language. Turns out it's Shawball's language. And then he's able to kind of create a Rosetta Stone to understand what they're saying. And he confronts her about it. And when he confronts her about it and has all these messages coming out, that's when she starts to have like a change of heart. She stops what she's doing. But I didn't mind that either. Some people didn't like it, but I'm like, okay, sure. Like, we'll take it. It's a lady. She's going to be emotional.
Yeah, well, we see that she was quote unquote human at one point, or the equivalent to a human at one point. She had I guess, a child, younger sister, whatever. I don't know, but there was some humanity there. And hey, look, Johnny had been working. It's set up throughout the early in the film. Johnny's been working on this throughout the entire film, trying to understand her language. And there's a setup and payoff for it, and we get it.
Yeah. So with the towers destroyed, they're then forced to figure something else out. So the answer then is like, well, if we can get Galactus here, and we can have him here, we can teleport him away. And then he won't be teleported in a ship. He'll be left out in space on his own, and it's going to keep him like incapacitated for a good period of time. So that becomes the plan. And sure, and it kind of becomes clear that Reed knows that the best answer was to just try to get Galactus, but the only way to get Galactus is to put Franklin as bait. But I think the only way he knew he could get Sue to get on board with that is if it was the only answer. So that's what we get. Galactus arrives on Earth. He comes down. He's destroying things. He's picking up trees, smelling them. Fresh air.
Fresh air.
Yeah, so you have this happen, but they think they're going to trick Galactus. They realize real quick they can't, and that kind of gets to that scene you were talking about at the very beginning when Herbie's trying to protect Galactus. But then it's a mission to
Franklin.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Herbie's trying to protect Franklin. My bad. But that's when you get to the I guess the big quote unquote action sequence. This is where it feels like a disaster movie because everything is getting destroyed around them.
Well, not just that. There's been like a huge, like, massive evacuation leading up to this of the entire city. So the body count is going to be 0, pretty much. And because it's set up earlier in the film with Hans Moleman, and there's payoff with Hans Moleman later in the film.
Yeah, it is. I thought he was a kind of funny character.
He was. The only thing I didn't care for is how he looked visually. That is just that's not what I liked to see.
He was just he was a frumpy guy with weird glasses. I mean, that's what he was here.
Look at a frumpy dork. Yeah.
But yeah, no, they paid that off. Again, I thought this was something Fantastic Four did better than Superman with evacuating the city because they actually show how and show the aspect of it happening. Whereas Superman, they're like evacuate everyone, and then like suddenly everyone's evacuated.
Yeah, they're all evacuating down to I forget what the name of the city is, but it's like all right, watch your step getting off. I'm scared. That's all. It's all dirt. Don't worry.
Right. But we do get some action stuff here, and I will say ultimately we know that the Fantastic Four are successful, but I do think this is where people probably have the largest problem with the film. Because
this is where my major problem is for a couple of reasons. One, just how similar it is to Rise of Silver Surfer, and it look at me. I'll just say it here. It really felt like, especially in the third act, they really nerfed the powers of Reed. Reed's powers just like a fucking joke. Nerfed the Thing's strength and really just nerfed Johnny. Like they just felt very weak in comparison to Sue in this third act.
Yeah. Yes, I will say overall Reed felt nerfed. They had him use his intelligence there for a bit, and I did enjoy this aspect of he noticed that there are mechanical aspects to Galactus's suit. And he starts because he gets that I don't remember if it was a light pole or what it was.
Stab him with it.
Yeah, and he's like works his way up and he starts releasing those levers, and you see like I don't know if it's meant to be like Galactus's life force or energy or what. He starts emptying those before Galactus grabs him and almost rips him in half. Which
if there's one move I wish they had shown, not the fastball special, but it's when Reed uses his body like a slingshot and he's able to fling people. If he had flown, oh my god, that would have been awesome.
And that's in the comics too. I was waiting for that and I didn't see it, and I was like, come on. What I will say is, yes, Sue is super overpowered here. Well, I say overpowered.
Well, in comparison to the other three, she is.
Yes. And I'm not going to say that it bothered me with her strength so much. It's just I wish the other three would have been more involved. So you get to a point where they've got Galactus getting close to it, but he's going to end up getting away. and Sue just uses her powers and she's just like pushing him. And she's trying to push him into this radius to get him teleported. And she's kind of doing it single-handedly. And there's times where he'll like,
oh, Josh, tower wreck. But yeah, I felt like they were nerfed in comparison to her, and she was able to get a lot done on her own. And it's just like they're supposed to be a team. They should be working together. Should be at the same power level.
Yeah. So what I was saying is there's moments where she's pushing Galactus and he's like starting to lose his I know, Salty. Damn it, Josh. Come on. Galactus will grab a building to like rebalance himself, and then you'd have the thing run through and like knock out the structures of the building so it would collapse. So like I get that, but I wanted more teamwork still. Like I really wanted Sue pushing to not be enough, and that Johnny's like trying to just continue to keep trying to blind Galactus with your fire. That way he can't put any like offenses forward. Maybe have Reed trying to stretch push, I don't know, or trip or something. He can stretch. Let him do something. And then have the thing, like, do what you said, slingshot him so the thing will like fly through there and hit him, and then kind of knock him back a few steps, and then let Sue keep like anything like that would have been all of them all at once, like an all-out assault. I would have really enjoyed. But it was really just Sue, and I was like, oh, I want more than this. Now, I have a few thoughts that are kind of complex within this. So, one, we kind of talked about this earlier about her using her powers and not really putting her physical body into it. So, if you haven't seen this, we're about to get into major spoilers. So, go away, maybe, if you don't want to have it spoiled. What they try to convey here is the reason Sue is so overpowered in this is she is literally giving every ounce of everything that she has. And that's not metaphorical. She is literally killing herself using her powers. And they have that happen. She dies. She straight up dies because of the physical exertion. My problem with this is it didn't look like she asserted herself that much. Are you there, Drew?
No, I'm here. Yeah. I just I agree. And I guess earlier, I wish they had shown more of that effect on her physically, exerting herself, like a nosebleed or something's going on with her eyes, like her eyes are watering. You can see maybe blood coming down from her eyes. Just something to show that it's costing her physically going this far, and you don't really get that.
No. And that was kind of like one of my big problems with the scene. I also have a problem, and some people have said this, and I have mixed feelings. I've had some people go, "Oh, here it is, MCU going completely woke again. Great."
Hey, girls get it done.
I was about to say we have some more girls get it done. And I've had a lot of people going like, "Are you effing kidding me, man? Y'all completely like just made Galactus into a bitch." Here's the thing. I don't agree with that, because it's not like they're fully beating him. Like they just
they barely they had to push him.
But for anyone that's like, F this, go read the comics, I will kindly remind everyone that in the comics during John Byrne's run, when Galactus returns to Earth, the person that knocks Galactus out is the fucking Wasp. Okay, so just take a minute, take a chill pill. But I think the one thing this movie didn't do that they needed to do that the comics does is the comics painstakingly describes how fatigued Galactus is when he gets to a planet. That he is so drained of his energy that he has to feed right away. The movie didn't really explain that. And I wish they would have, because that would have even given credence to like, hey, honestly, the only reason these guys are beating them is because he is on like 0%. So I wish that would have been in there to kind of establish like, all right, here we go. But yeah, no, they didn't. But so it's mainly Sue, but she does get a little bit of help at the end. It looks like Johnny's because they've got him right at the edge. They're seconds away from being able to teleport him, and then Galactus just plants himself and stops. And then Johnny's like, I've got to do something. tell Franklin his uncle Johnny loves him. And like Johnny is going in to just like flame on. I'm gonna hit Galactus as hard as I can to knock him off balance, send him through this rift, and we'll be successful. And I would have sacrificed myself, but it's worth it. And as he's going to do it, what happens, Drew?
Do we want to spoil it?
I mean, we're kind of spoiling everything else.
I'll let you say. I don't want to spoil it. I'll let you spoil. I'll let you say it.
I'll spoil it. So as he's going to knock Galactus in, Silver Surfer comes up and stops him, kind of knocks him down, and then she decides to be the one that sacrifices herself.
Yeah, she pulls a rose. She pulls a Rose Tico.
Yeah. Now this isn't completely unprecedented. It makes sense because the exchange between Johnny and Shaalabal is very much like, hey, I'm trying to save my world and the people I love, like you save the people you love. So why can't you understand what I'm trying to do? What I wish would have been in this film is what is in the Stan Lee and Jack Kirby comics, where Silver Surfer meets Alicia Masters and sees just the greatness of humanity, and that also reminds him of his loved ones. Well, in the comics of his loved ones, because it's Norrin Rad. And I wish we would have had some more examples of that, and not just to like, oh, I was reminded of my home, so I guess I won't have your planet die. But I also wish they would have had more of a like cosmic fight between Galactus and Silver Surfer to really show like, all right, now he's really, really drained of his powers, and we can all push him. Anyways, he does get pushed in. He gets teleported. The Earth is saved. Hurrah! Everything goes back to normal. So, except we don't really know what goes on with Silver Surfer from here. But yeah. Anyways, that is pretty much the end of the movie. We do get to a point with the post-credit scene, right?
Well, yeah, there's a couple of post-credit scenes. Only one really matters, but there is something at the very, very, very end of the film that means more to me than anything else from this film. But the first post-credit scene, it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I loved it. I dug it.
Yeah. So the first post-credit scene, we're gonna spoil it. The first post-credit scene jumps ahead 4 years. So we jump ahead another 4 years. I think it was 4 years.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a year. There was a time jump. And you've got Sue and Franklin at home and Herbie, and they're looking for a book for Franklin because Franklin wants something. It's a nice little moment, and then Sue finds the book that they're looking for, so she goes to get it, but then she hears something back in the living room, and she like prepares herself. She gets her powers ready. Oh, by the way, because we talked about Sue died, Franklin brings her back to life. Yay, MacGuffin!
Like I said, elements are familiar to Rise of Silver Surfer. There you go, right there.
Yeah.
Sue died in Rise of Silver Surfer, brought back to life. It's like,
yep. Anyways, Sue hears something, so as she walks back in the living room, she's prepared to fight, protect, whatever she needs to do. And what do we see? But we see the green cloak and then the mask of Doom being held, and he is talking to Franklin. You can't hear it, but you see him like,
and you see Franklin reach out to his face.
Yes, to his face to touch, like just like that.
Yeah.
And then it cuts away, and I was like, okay, I'm a little hyped now. All right. Did that make you feel excited?
No? It did. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
I mean,
cool.
It's just one of those it's something so small, but it's just like it nailed it perfectly, and it's just like, oh shit, I'm there. They got me.
Yeah. Now here's where I got really excited. Was I expected this movie to end with Galactus being successful and the Fantastic Four fleeing their planet and going into a new universe. And I thought that's how they were going to come into this new MC universe. Turns out that is not the case.
Yeah, and maybe it's Doom. Maybe it's Doom on that ship coming to Earth, and the Fantastic Four are going to be chasing him. I don't know. We'll find out.
Well, what I found out from an interview is that when Avengers, what is it, Doomsday, whatever the hell it is, when that movie kicks off, it does not start off in the MCU. It starts off with the Fantastic Four on their planet.
Terrific.
So now I'm wondering, because we're like, oh, this Doom, like, it's Tony Stark. Is it because it's Robert Downey Jr.? What's going on? Now I'm wondering if they are going to go like, no, this is Victor Von Doom. This is the Victor Von Doom from that Earth. And we're taking that Victor Von Doom, who really is Victor Von Doom. It just has Robert Downey Jr. playing him. And we're going to then send him to the MCU. If that is the case, I am down.
Yeah, I think that's how it's going. I think that's how it's going to be. I really think, and like you said, if they do that, amazing. Kudos
for sure.
Kudos to you.
Yeah. So, really kind of curious there. What was the second teaser? I remember it was just kind of a fun.
Oh, it was the 60s cartoon version of the Fantastic Four.
Oh, yep. Okay, cool.
But the best part is at the very, very end. We end with a quote from Jack Kirby, talking about putting a little bit of himself into his characters, and it's just like, finally, Jack got his due. And it's like, of all the moments in the film, that one got me the most emotional. It's just great seeing Jack getting acknowledged finally.
Yeah.
And he had it. It's been a long time coming, and it felt great.
For sure. We got Nadia in the house with "What's up, nerds? What's up, Nadia?" And then we do have Salty Traveling Sea saying Silver Surfer jumping in to hit Galactus was a Rose Tico moment. Yes and no. It happened in the comics as well. Like, at the end of the day, Silver Surfer is the one that physically stopped Galactus in the comics during the Jack Kirby run, or that Jack Kirby 3 issues. So I didn't hate it, but I wish there would have been more, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, because but the problem is it's going to be compared to other things in the past. One of which is
100%.
Just like, you couldn't have done it a different way.
I see, and I think the reason I wish there would have been more, and where I said I wish I would have had like that full-on cosmic energy battle fight, was I wish they would have portrayed it as even the Fantastic Four, the four of them together, all trying with Galactus Weekend cannot stop him. And then it's like, because I would have believed the Earth is doomed at that point. If they really did everything and could not stop him, and he got back up and started walking, I would have been like, they're screwed. They've got to escape now. Because that's kind of what I expected anyways. And then had Silver Surfer come in and use his or her cosmic power, in this case, the cosmic power to actually stop Galactus, I would have been like, all right, I'm on board, because they couldn't do it. And that's what they did with Jack Kirby and Stan Lee's comic. But they didn't do that here. She just kind of comes in with a punk and knocks him through. So it was like, I wish that would have played differently. But I didn't hate it as much as some people. I was like, I'll accept it. I'll allow it. And then to kind of bring up, Salty did say, don't do what everyone did for WandaVision. If it's not on the screen or done by the characters, it doesn't exist. So the whole Galactus thing about him coming to planets and being drained, I know it wasn't there. I was saying I wish they would have written dialogue in about that to justify the Fantastic Four being able to at least push him. That's all I was saying. I'm not saying, oh, this is why. I'm saying it should have been in the script, in the film script, to explain this sense. Salty did not like the movie. He said 5 out of 10. There's a lot that I enjoyed in this movie. I'm going to be honest. I prefer this way more than I preferred Superman. Look, I've seen some people say that on their second watch, they really disliked it quite a bit. So we'll see when I watch it again. But for me, there was a lot of stuff that I enjoyed. But no, this was definitely better than Thor: The Dark World. Come on, Salty.
Wow. No.
And look, I was a Thor: The Dark World apologist. I was like, it's not as bad as everyone says. Y'all need to chill. But yeah, no, I liked it better than that. I will agree with you. The movie was chopped to hell and back. Where did that comment go? I saw it there a second ago. Okay. Yeah, you put this movie is chopped up to hell. The third meandering, pointless act is proof, along with all the black woman who appears randomly for the black woman. You mean the lady that leads the Future Foundation? So I think the official runtime of the movie itself comes to less than 2 hours, and it's
Yes.
my understanding the original cut was like pretty much 2.5 hours. So we lost 30 to 40 minutes of this film. It's been brought up enough that people have been asking Matt Shackman in interviews, like, "Hey, is there going to be a director's cut?" And he's saying no, but I kind of want to see a director's cut.
If it's popular enough and it's successful enough, we will see it.
Yeah. So because I want to see what this movie looks like without all the kind of stuff pulled. Um, Real quick, we're gonna go through a few more things. Speaking of Matt Shackman, he directed WandaVision, then came to Fantastic Four. I know people have opinions about WandaVision. I will say the one thing that I thought was not bad about WandaVision was the direction, and I was really excited to see Matt Shackman get a chance with this film. I thought the direction here was fantastic. This is for me the one of the first and only Marvel movies that has a visual identity. And I get that when you play with the 60s time period, it makes it easier. But even the stuff in space, I thought looked really fucking good. So kudos to him. I'll have to look up and see who his cinematographer was that he used, but visually, I thought this is probably the best thing that Marvel's ever done. Yeah, I don't know, but that's me. I don't know if you agree, Drew, but
I will say I was shocked. This is the same guy who did WandaVision because I not a fan of WandaVision, especially the
just
ending.
directing, not writing, just directing.
It's directing. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
still surprised it was the same guy. But he did a fantastic job, no pun intended, with this movie.
Yeah.
And I hope he comes back for a sequel.
Yeah, same. I think there's a lot of potential for Shackman, so we'll see. Let's see. I feel like there's one other thing that I wanted to. We kind of already talked about the family dynamic. I'm gonna skip that. Hold on, I'm trying to see what these other things are. We'll skip that. Uh, on the grand scheme of things, would you say this is a pretty faithful adaptation in terms of trying to convey the essence of the comics?
I will say yes. I will say in many ways it is much more faithful to the original comics than the other ones were.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's at least better than the other two.
Yeah.
Attempts. Yeah, the other two runs, I should say. Yeah, no. I mean, again, we talked about this at the beginning. Is it perfect? No, but I think they got more right than they did wrong. So
yeah.
Cool. Let's go ahead and start wrapping things up. Any final thoughts that you want to bring up about the movie?
Everyone should see this. Everyone should see this in IMAX or 3D. It is going to be a fun movie when you go see it. It's not what you expect. I mean, it is more focused than Superman.
Yeah.
And I love the villain in this. He's a legitimate threat, legitimate stakes, and it exceeded my lowered expectations. But I still had fun regardless. I want to see it again. It's edging out Superman, not by much. I'll give it probably maybe a 6.5, maybe a 7 out of 10 for me on Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I again, I said this at the beginning. I enjoyed this way more than I thought I would. I liked a lot of the character moments. Again, I think Reed is the wrong guy, or Pedro is the wrong guy to play Reed. I didn't hate his performance; it just didn't feel like Reed Richards to me. I wanted more Ben Grimm, and I wish we could have had more in that third act. I would really like to see what all was left on the cutting room floor, because there's clips in the trailers that aren't in this movie, and they were beautiful clips, and I wanted to see what was going on in some of those scenes. And I'm like,
just like Fantastic 2015, like a lot of that first trailer was not in the film.
Oh yeah. So but overall, I agree. This is the best thing that Marvel has done since Endgame, in my opinion. which I know isn't the highest bar, but you know what? I'm looking at this as I didn't hate Thunderbolts. I liked it more than I thought I would, even though I'm not. I prefer this over Thunderbolts for sure.
Yes.
I expected even worse from Thunderbolts, and I was like, okay, it was decent. And this I really enjoyed, and I feel like if we got more movies, even on this quality or this level, I feel like we would complain about Marvel less. So hopefully, it's a step in the right direction. You got, I think, McFeely. I can't remember if it's Marcus or McFeely that's writing the Doomsday script, but they brought fucking Michael Waldron back to help write the script. That was a bad move. Marcus or McFeely, if they're calling the shots, they can hopefully kind of focus things in. But those are the same guys that did the 3 Captain America films, Infinity War, and Endgame. So script wise, we have some hope for these next 2 Avengers movies. But yeah, we'll see. I would probably give this at least a 7.5. I want to see it again. I really want to kind of just sit with it. I usually try to watch movies twice before I discuss them, and just my schedule was not going to allow before doing this. But like I said, there's a lot that I liked here. And I substantially like this more than Superman, because Superman for me, while there's stuff that I liked about it and moments that I liked, I thought structurally as a story, it was a hot mess express. So yeah, if you haven't seen Fantastic Four, maybe you got Marvel fatigue, maybe you're just tired of getting burned by Marvel. I didn't think this was awful. I thought it was good. I know Salty disagrees. He's giving it a 5 out of 10. But I would say it's worth checking out just to go see. And then, yeah, what I will say, and I know that a certain YouTuber who is massively popular shared the sentiment that I completely disagree with, but Gary mentioned that he would have liked this film much better had they had the ultimate nullifier as the thing that ended the film. And I'm like, fuck off right now. We do not need that. I don't need the watcher showing up being like, hey, I can't help, but I'm going to help. And, oh, Johnny, I'm going to teleport you here. And if you find this, it'll end everything. I hate shit like that. So I was like, oh, please, God, Gary, come on, man. But anyways, I enjoyed it. It seems like Drew really enjoyed it. I'd say go watch it. Go watch it in IMAX. At the very least, watch it for the visual experience, because it was really good. But yeah. Alrighty, Drewski, anything else you want to say before we end the night?
No, let's wrap it up.
No, nothing at all. No quick little reminder about that right there.
Right. Yes, next week, Terrificon. I will be there along with cover artist Matt Wilson. This is his cover for Unholy Nightmare #1, limited to only 50 copies. 50. That is it. They could be double signed there at the convention, and hope to see you guys there.
Yeah, it looks like Sue is interested. She seems like she's a little enamored here. There might be some leather action going on here.
Oh, she's like, oh, hey, big girl.
Oh, hey, big girl. Tell me about yourself. Yes, and then Drew, if people want to find you on the socials, where can they find you?
You can find me on Facebook, Dolan Waddick. You can find me on Instagram, Dolan_Waddick.
Heck yes. As for the channel, if you want to follow Pop by Culture, we are here on YouTube pretty much every Tuesday and Thursday. You can also follow us on Twitter at @ByPopped. If you want to follow me directly, I'm at Joshua L. McDonald on Twitter, where I will talk about anything and everything. So prepare yourself. But yeah, we love having you guys here in the chat. It's always fun to just kind of converse with y'all. We have 107 people watching right now between Twitter and YouTube. So thank you. But 88 of you are on actually more. Gosh, let me math it real quick. 96 of you are on the Twitter side. So, if that's you, come to YouTube, hit the like button, hit subscribe, share it, do something. Help us get our names out there. We're always talking about nerd stuff here. So if you like nerd stuff, we're the place for you. But no, thank y'all for tuning in. I really appreciated it. Everyone have a good night, and we will see y'all next time. Bye.
Get the fuck